So thank you, Carl, for inviting us to do this demo. Appreciate the opportunity to share our HealthScreen Pro product. I'm Shaun Olson. I've also got Jason Alcarez here with BuildCenter, and we'll walk you through the product. But really quickly, before we do that, I just wanted to talk about how this came about. We work in an area that was hard hit by COVID in March, and all the contractors in our area, including ourselves, because we're tied to a mid-sized construction company in the area, we were all asked early on in March to start some new protocols. And those protocols included wearing masks, social distancing, sanitizing high-touch surfaces, along with other safety items. But one of the biggest challenges was we were asked as companies, as general contractors, to screen all workers and visitors for symptoms before they enter the job site, and to keep an attendance log for contact tracing. This started off as a pen and paper type of operation. Very quickly, it was pretty obvious that that wasn't sustainable. Not to mention the fact that people are touching the same pen. So we looked for a way to automate this system, and we added this product to our BuildCenter platform. Our product has a couple of objectives. Number one is to make it really easy for site supervisors to follow OSHA guidelines for screening workers and visitors with COVID symptoms, or making sure people with COVID symptoms don't get on their job sites. Secondly, is an easy way to collect attendance details from each person coming on site for contact tracing. A lot of the local jurisdictions, at least in our area, are requiring that they keep these logs, these attendance logs, so that if somebody does come back positive, there's a way to contact all those workers that were working with that person. Everything that I've mentioned so far is part of our HealthScreen product. We have a free version, and everything I just mentioned is part of that free version. We do have a pro version that I'm going to go into a little deeper detail on today. We created this product for larger job sites. So this allows workers to actually self-check in using a QR code. It also allows for supervisors to bulk check in workers that have been there before, and allows the companies to customize and automate some things as far as the questions and triggering emails. So let's get into it. There's really two main ways to process the screening. The photo on the left is a supervisor who's got their phone out, and they are entering the information about the worker, their name, their phone number, and then they're asking verbally the screening questions. So this is part of the free version, and the supervisor does all the data entry at that point. The pro version allows another way to screen, and that is where the worker actually scans a QR code with their phone. It opens up a web browser on their phone, and they actually will enter in the information themselves. So let's talk first of all about the first option, which is where the supervisor does the entry. I'm not going to go into great detail here, but I just want to quickly go over the process. So they have, per project, they enter their contact information for that individual, and then they verbally ask the questions of the screening questions that they want to ask. These questions can be customized by the company. So as things change, as CDC has other guidelines, they can easily update these questions. If the person's been there before, they can start typing their phone number in, and it pops them right up and makes it really quick. And then they can just say that they were screened and save them into the system. Now, if you've got a large job site and you've got 20, 30, 50, 100 workers coming in the morning all at the same time, this becomes a bottleneck for the superintendent to do this. So this is where the pro version comes in. The workers can come in, they can scan a QR code. They then type in the information on their own phone. It's just a web browser on their phone. They put in their contact information. They read the questions. They click yes or no for the questions. And then once they're done, they walk over to the superintendent or the screener, whatever that person is who's in charge of this. They have the app open and they can see everybody who's self-registered on a list of pending people. They see that person, they click on them, they can review the questions very quickly, and they can complete the process just in a couple clicks. So it only takes a few seconds now. There's another way that you can also, in Pro, there's another way to bulk enter large groups of people. So let's say you've got 4 workers that come in all at once, and the superintendent can pull up a list of recent workers or visitors, and they can check them off, click on a bulk sign in button, and ask them all the same questions all at the same time. So this way they're bulk processing people and not having to do one by one by one, which saves a lot of time. Pro Edition also allows for automatic email triggers. So what this does is when you're setting up your questions and you're saying, you know, if the person says yes to being in contact with somebody with COVID the last 14 days, I want an email to go out immediately to, you know, the general superintendent or whoever that might be. This is all set up on the admin side, and this is an example of an email, and it tells you why the email was sent, so that they can then make contact with the superintendent on site, or to find out what exactly is happening and what's going on with that individual. So now that you've screened all these workers, whether you're using the supervisors using the app or the workers are self-screening, all this information is going into the system and it's being collected into an attendance log. The screen I'm showing you now is the attendance log using just a web interface. So you log in to your BuildCenter account and you'll be able to see your attendance log. Once you have your log, you can sort by project, you can sort by date. It's very, very easy to say, okay, I want to know everyone who's working on this job at this date, so that they can then export that information with this export button right here in the top left corner. Now that they've had that log, they can send that, you know, in some counties, our county, if there's someone test positive, we have to notify the county. We're required by law to do that. And we can send them this report and say, these are the people that were on the job site. And so that they have contact tracers that will then notify each one of those people to let them know that they could have been exposed. This is a key part of controlling the virus. And so this is how that part works. All right, so just to kind of wrap up, Carl, it's really easy to get started. Like I said, it's free to start, and the base version is free. People just go to buildcenter.com, create a company account, and then they set up their screening questions and add some projects in there. And once they do that, they can invite users to log in, download the app, and start screening. So it's pretty straightforward on how to get started. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, no, that's excellent. I mean, it seems like a really, really useful and obviously a very necessary tool in this day and age. So let's stay on how to get started. So let's just say, I need this and want to get it for my job site. Is there kind of like step-by-step instructions for me to kind of go through and set that up, or would you be able to help me out, or what's the customer service side look like for that?
Yeah, we do have customer service. Usually it's done through either phone or chat box we have on our website. But most people, we've created videos for every step of the way. So there's a video of how to create a company account. It's like a 2-minute video. There's there's a video for how to invite people so that they're invited to that company's account. And then people just download the app and start using it. But we do have little video clips that talk about each step.
Okay, great. And then as I'm setting this up and I'm creating some of these questions, I'm not well versed in, the CDC guidelines or the OSHA guidelines as it pertains to this. Is there kind of a boilerplate that I can use, or how would I find that information to load?
So Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the CDC, the default questions are added automatically. And so you already start with a list of questions that are straight from the CDC as of today. Now, of course, that could change tomorrow, and that's why we allow people to modify the questions as they see fit. But it does come with pre-populated questions.
Got it. And then, how do you guys handle, let's say, job sites that maybe that don't have controlled access or multiple access points? I'm assuming that with something like this, you need to have maybe one or two very, defined access points on a job site, right?
That's the way we've seen it happen, is that the access points have been much more controlled because of the screening requirement. If you can certainly have more than one user at a job site screening, and you can have multiple job sites. Access points. That's not a problem. And but most, in fact, in our area, we're required to really keep it to one access point for screening.
Mm-hmm. And I did have a question about even there's concerns with other applications about badge swapping, but it looks like you have like a dedicated personnel that would be at those checkpoints or be at those access points that would verify that those individuals. So if somebody tried to come in to check in several people at once, that would be called up pretty quick.
Yeah, the idea is that there's someone that's accountable. There's some supervisor or screener, some dedicated person who is in charge of verifying this information. Even if they're self-registering, somebody needs to look at that, make sure that they answered the questions and that they're satisfied with the answers before they get access. Nobody wants to hear that somebody has symptoms after they've already gone and they've been working for hours. And so if they're self-screening and that's all that's happening, you run the risk of that happening very easily. And now you've got exposure. So the idea here is that there's somebody of authority that is checking everything before the person enters the job.
Yeah. And it seems like this is also something that if I am running a job site that personnel have both smartphones and let's just say flip phones or no phones, this still leaves the option of if there's a screener that's at every, let's just say, access point, they can verbally ask these questions to make sure that everyone's compliant. That's correct. Even if they use the pro version and they want everybody to use the QR code, there's people that don't have smartphones, and so the supervisor there could enter them manually themselves. If they've been to the site before, it really becomes literally a few seconds because they're just typing in either their name or their phone number and it pops right up. They click on it. All their information from the previous visit is loaded. So it makes it really fast. And that's the whole thing that we've noticed is that as we started this process on our own, there was just a big time delay for people to get on the job site. So we did a lot to streamline every step to make it so that it just only takes a few seconds. Yeah, no, that's great. And I'm assuming that even with a software like this, let's say, a treatment comes out for COVID is no longer an issue. This is still a very applicable software as far as either asking other questions for, let's just say diseases and viruses, heaven forbid, in the future. But then also, you can query the job site for other, let's just say, safety related items, right? Yeah, so when we started to create this product, we talked about, what does this become post COVID-19? Hopefully
that day is coming soon. But you know, having an accurate log of people coming to job sites is always going to be a requirement for a lot of construction sites and companies. So that feature will remain in there as an attendance log, visitor log. As far as the questions go, because they can be customized, you can change it. It doesn't have to be COVID related. It could be, you know, do you have your PPE? Did you get trained on our on-site protocols, or, you know, our on-site safety rules? So those questions can be adapted so that it can be used in the future.
Got it. No, that's good. And then one last question would be, does this software, does it integrate with any other software or any suite of software that you guys offer?
So we offer time card or time tracking, a time card system for contractors, as well as crew scheduling. So those are two other modules that are available, and those all work seamlessly together, but they can be used or purchased separately. So the whole idea is that each one of our products can be used separately, independently, and so that people aren't forced into buying a big package. As far as integration, the health screening product, because it's very, very specific to this problem, we have the export that you can export the data out so that you can, if you want to import it into something else or share that with the county, you can do that. But that's the extent of the integration for the health screen. Okay, got it. No, this is wonderful. I really appreciate your time. If somebody was interested in learning more about you guys or to reaching you guys, how do they go about contacting you? Most of the information is on our website, BuildCenter.com. That's the first place to start, and we have support available if they need to chat with somebody or call somebody. Yeah, our goal is to help as many contractors get through this as possible. Awesome. Well, thank you, Shaun. Thank you, Jason. I really appreciate your time.